Do you love silly stories for kids? Why not consider joining our family? You can even get a very special message from one of your favourite silly stories for kids characters. Head over to the website to find out more. It's your support that helps us to continue to make exciting stories and more crazy content.
Did somebody say crazy?
Oh, Pimpin, no. One day, 3 little kids named Josh, Zoe and Nate all had just got home from school. They'd driven in the driveway with their mum. They jumped out of the car. Now, one of their favourite things to do was to go check the mailbox for letters. The 3 kids raced out the front to the letterbox and opened it up. They looked inside and there was nothing in there. "Oh," said Nate. "I really wanted there to be something in the letterbox." "Me too," said Josh. "Oh well," said Zoe, "I guess we'll just have to wait until tomorrow." So they closed the letterbox and started to walk back down the driveway. As they were walking though, they heard a noise. Stunk! "What was that?" said Zoe. "I don't know," said Josh. "I think we got a letter," said Nate. "No," said Josh. "Letters don't just magically appear in the letterbox." "Yeah," said Zoe. "That's not how it works." "But I think there's a letter," said Nate. He raced back up to the letterbox. Zoe and Josh just kept walking. "There's something here," yelled Nate. "No, there's not," said Zoe. "There is," said Nate, as he held up a little package over the top of his head. "There is," said Josh. Josh and Zoe raced back down the driveway to see what it was. They looked at Nate. "Look, it's got our names on it." On the package, it said, "To Josh, Zoe and Nate." "Open it up." Nate opened up the little package and looked inside. There was a note and another package. "What does the note say?" said Zoe. Nate had a look. Can you read it, Josh?" "Sure," said Josh. He picked up the note and it said, "Dear Zoe, Nate and Josh, I hope that you like this package. I made some changes to your mailbox to make it a little bit more magical. From a friend." "Oh. P.S. I hope you enjoy the present." "Wow, I wonder what it is," said Josh. "Me too," said Nate. "Let's open it." "Okay." So the kids worked together and opened up the package, and inside there was a little screen. "What's this for?" "I don't know," said Josh. "It's a bit weird." "Yeah," said Nate. "That's a strange present." They looked carefully, and on the screen there were some words. "Put the wrapper back in the letterbox." "Oh, I guess we're meant to put the wrapping back in," said Zoe. "Okay," said Josh. "I got it," said Nate. He scrunched up the wrapping and chucked it in the letterbox. And then he closed it. "What was that noise?" said Zoe. "I don't know." Nate opened the letterbox again. "The wrapper's gone," he said. "Something strange is going on here," said Josh. "I wonder what they meant by a little bit more magical." "I don't know. Maybe we'll get magic letters tomorrow," said Zoe. They closed the letterbox and started walking back down the driveway. Stunk! Whoa! "What was that one?" said Josh. "It's another package," said Nate as he raced back towards the letterbox and he opened it up. But this time, instead of a package, "Hello, everybody," said a voice. "Is that Teddywinkle?" said Zoe. "It is Teddywinkle," said Nate. "Hello, Teddywinkle." "Oh, hello, Nate. How are you?" Did you make the changes to our letterbox?" said Zoe. "Yes, I did. I thought you kids definitely deserved a magic mailbox." "A magic mailbox?" said Josh. "Yeah, they're the best kind of mailboxes you can possibly imagine." "Why is that?" said Zoe. "Because you can send anything, anywhere, anytime." "Really?" said Josh. "Really," said Teddywinkle. "See? Watch this. All right, we got to send a letter to someone. Who do you want to send a letter to?" Maybe we should send a letter to Grandma?" "Oh, good idea. All right, except instead of a letter, let's send a trick." "A trick?" said Teddywinkle. "Yeah, it'll be funny. All right, what you need to do is see that little spot there on the side of the letterbox." "Yeah," said Josh. You need to write the name of the person that you want it to go to." I don't know Grandma's real name," said Zoe. "Just write Grandma. The letterbox will know who you're talking about." So Zoe wrote on the side of the letterbox, "Grandma." "Now we send whatever we want, and today, do you know what we're going to send?" "What's that?" said Josh. "Water." "What?" said Zoe. "Water?" "Yeah, water." "Oh, this sounds fun," said Nate. "I'll get the hose." Nate raced off and grabbed the hose. "What do I do with it?" "Just point it in the letterbox and watch that little screen I sent you." "Really?" said the kids. "Really," said Teddywinkle. So Nate pointed the hose down into the letterbox. "Now watch. Josh, you man the tap, okay?" Okay, said Josh. So Josh stood at the tap and waited, and the kids watched, and they saw on the screen there was Grandma walking towards her letterbox. As she got closer and closer, the kids were starting to giggle. What's going to happen, Teddywinkle?
Oh, wait, you'll see, this is fun.
And as Grandma opened the letterbox, Teddywinkle said,
Josh, turn it on now.
Okay, said Josh. He turned on the hose, and as Grandma looked in, water started spraying out of her letterbox straight into her face. Said Grandma as she was getting sprayed. What's going on? Turn it off, said Teddywinkle. So Josh turned it off. Grandma looked inside the letterbox again. There's nothing in here, she said. That's very... Turn it on again, said Teddywinkle. So Josh turned on the hose again. Said Grandma as she started stumbling around her front yard. My letterbox is broken. I'm going to have to call the repairman. It seems to have a water leak, she said. A water leak in your letterbox, said Zoe. That can't happen.
Well, she did just get sprayed in the face.
Oh, yeah, I guess she did, said Zoe.
All right, Josh, turn it off. Let's send another letter.
All right, said Josh. That's a good idea. They raced back up the driveway and they were all laughing and laughing and laughing.
All right, who should we do next?
Can we send a letter to my teacher, said Josh.
Yeah, what's your teacher's name?
Oh, my teacher's name's Mr. Pedley.
All right, what are we going to send him?
Let's have a think. I'll do the writing, said Nate. Do you know how to write it? I'll try. So Nate did his best and he wrote Mr. Pedley on the side of the letterbox. Zoe helped him with his letters a little bit, but he got it all right.
All right, kids, what are we going to send him?
I've got an idea, said Josh. Let's send him every single ball that we can find in our entire house.
That is an amazing idea. All right, everybody, go search. Find every single ball that you can find.
All right, so the kids all raced off and started collecting balls from around the house. They found soccer balls and basketballs and tennis balls and spiky balls, even this special moon ball that when you throw it at the ground bounces super high.
Oh, save that one, said Teddywinkle. I've got a special plan for that one.
All right, said the kids, and they started putting all the balls in the letterbox. Now, said Zoe, there is no way that all these balls are going to fit in the letterbox.
But it's a magic letterbox, you see, said Teddywinkle.
Oh, said Zoe. All right. So they started putting them all in, and no matter how many balls they put into the letterbox, it could always seem to fit at least one more. They even added some golf balls and bouncy balls and ping pong balls. They even added the favourite ball of the dog next door. The dog was not very happy. He gave Josh a very grumpy look as he picked up the ball and followed him all the way to the letterbox and watched Josh put it in. Said the dog. It's okay, said Josh. It's for something really funny.
All right, let's watch the screen.
They closed the lid of the letterbox. The dog sat down next to the kids and they all watched as Josh's teacher, Mr. Pedley, walked closer and closer to his letterbox. And when he opened it,
Boing, bing, bong, bing, bong, bong, bong.
he said, as he was getting attacked by all kinds of balls. Soccer balls hit him in the stomach, a tennis ball hit him in the nose, and then all kinds of other balls were bouncing up against him. What is going on? He said, as all the balls poured out of his letterbox and knocked him to the ground. He was so confused, he stood up and went to look back in the letterbox.
You got that moon ball?
Said Teddywinkle. I do, said Josh.
Get ready,
he said, as Mr. Pedley started to look back in the letterbox to see what had happened. Josh threw the moon ball in at the perfect time. It went through and bopped Mr. Pedley right on the forehead. Bump! Ow! Said Mr. Pedley. The kids laughed, and while they were laughing, the dog from next door jumped into the letterbox. No, said Josh. But the dog was gone. It popped out at Mr. Pedley's house and started picking up all the balls. What's going on? Said Mr. Pedley. He was very confused by all the balls and the bouncing things and the dog. He was very, very out of sorts. I don't know what to do. Something's wrong with my letterbox, he said. The dog ran around, found its favourite ball, picked it up, ran back to Mr. Pedley's letterbox and jumped in. Mr. Pedley couldn't believe his eyes. I think I need to go back inside. Something's wrong. I'm going to have a cup of tea. He went back inside. The kids laughed and laughed and laughed.
All right, I think the coast is clear. Let's go collect all the balls.
Really? Said Josh.
Really?
Said Teddywinkle. So the kids all jumped into the letterbox one by one and they popped out at Mr. Pedley's house. They quickly collected all the balls that they could, while Mr. Pedley was inside having a cup of tea and putting ice on all the bumps that he had. Oh, this was very confusing, thought Mr. Pedley, as he looked out the window and saw Josh, Nate and Zoe jumping back into his letterbox. That can't have happened. That can't have happened. Could it have? He said. The kids were laughing and laughing as they returned back to their house. "That was the most fun ever," said Zoe.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Nice work, Josh.
"Yeah, good work. That was so funny." They all laughed.
All right, kids, it's probably time for me to go, so I guess I will see you next time.
"All right," said the kids. "See you next time." And Teddywinkle jumped back into the letterbox. "Hey, Josh," said Nate. "Yeah, I got an idea," he said. "What's your idea?" "Let's send something to Teddywinkle." "Good idea." So the kids all started to think, what can we send? What can we send? It needs to be something funny and silly, said Josh. Yeah, what could we use? Just then, the dog from next door left a nice little present next to the letterbox. Should we put it in? Said Josh. I don't know if we should, said Zoe. But while they were talking, Nate had already scooped it up on some pieces of bark and popped it into the letterbox. Do you want to do the honours? He said. All right, said Josh. They wrote on the side, Teddywinkle. And they watched the screen. And as they watched, Teddywinkle heard a noise in his letterbox behind him.
Oh, wonder what that is,
he said. He turned around and opened up the letterbox.
Whoa, that stinks,
said Teddywinkle. And the kids laughed and laughed and laughed as they ran away from the letterbox and raced back inside. As they walked through the front door, their mum said, Hey kids, was there any mail? Well, said Zoe, I don't think you'd believe us, even if we told you. And that is the end of the story.
Today's episode is brought to you by Teddywinkle's Magic Mailboxes. Have you had enough of getting bills and rates notices and all kinds of boring letters? Get yourself a magic mailbox from Teddywinkle and you can have fun getting surprises and all kinds of silly things. We hope you've been enjoying Silly Stories for Kids and don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. This has been me, Teddywinkle.
And me, Sam. We'll see you next time.